693,390. That is the number of acres burned down by wildfire this year alone, according to Smokey the Bear and the National Wildfire Association. Wildfires often rage out of control and do damage not only to property, but ecosystems and the wildlife that lives in that ecosystem. I know that a lot of us enjoy the outdoors and campfires, and the use of fire as a means of heating, cooking, and hunting was one of the first developments of the human civilization. And we still use it today as in grills, campfires, and indoor fireplaces. It is important that we respect fire and learn proper fire safety in order to protect our ecosystem while still enjoying the benefits that fire can give. In order for us to understand the impact we are having on the environment and why it is important to practice good fire safety, we will discuss the science of fire, how fire affects the ecosystem, and how to safely control fire. So, starting with the science, when thinking about what causes fire, the first thing you can think about is the fire triangle. So you have three sides to your triangle. One is heat, one is oxygen, and one is combustible fuel. Fire happens whenever combustible fuel comes into contact with oxygen at a high temperature. Another scientific fact that a lot of people may not understand is that forest fires do occur in nature. In fact, some ecosystems rely on fire to thrive. Areas that have adopted fire helps promote plant and wildlife diversity, burns away old debris, and supports diversity. So, you may be thinking, if forest fires are natural, what's the big deal? Well, too much fire and too often can be dangerous. In their pamphlet, Forest Fires in Missouri, the Missouri State Conservation Board says that freelance burnings by farmers are not only wasteful and destructive, but harmful to timber, wildlife, and soil. Uncontrolled fires damage large trees and kill saplings and expose the soil to erosion that would not happen anyway. And it also can be harmful by destroying homes for wildlife. In D.J. Bowman's report, Fire Ecology, he states that forest fires may be happening at a more frequent pace than before, largely due to certain areas that are in drought and having more exposure to lightning, but possibly due to the growth of the human population and more human interaction with the ecosystem. So, what can you do to prevent forest fires, you may ask? Well, the Campfire Home and Safety Association posted an article in the Salt Lake Tribune that gave us a few guidelines for how to safely take care of our campfires. Number one, we want to build our fire away from any flammable debris, such as downed logs, dried leaves, stuff like that. Once your fire is lit, you want to stack your wood farther away from your fire so that you reduce the risk of your stack of firewood catching on fire. You want to keep your campfire small. I know it sounds not fun, but it really is important to keep it small so that it doesn't get out of hand. And really, really important is never leave your fire unattended. A sudden gust of wind or something like that could cause the fire to flare up and catch something else on fire. And last but not least, make sure you fully extinguish your fire, because sometimes you can leave embers smoldering that can smolder for a long time and catch something else on fire. So, fire safety is also important in the home. Thomas Gaffney of the New York Times wrote in an article, he says that officials are urging people to not only make sure that they have smoke detectors in the house, but to make sure they work. I know it sounds self-explanatory, but in the article he says that there are a large percentage of homes that their smoke detectors either don't work or do not exist. And another big thing is, make sure if you have a fire in a fireplace, make sure that it's fully extinguished before you go to bed or before you leave the house, because embers in a fireplace can smolder for up to 2 to 3 hours after you think the fire is out. And consult manuals for grills and outdoor fireplaces to make sure that you are using them safely. So, all in all, it is extremely important to respect fire and learn the safety. Fires do occur in nature, with increasing frequency, they can be harmful to people, ecosystems, and wildlife. We all know that fire is awesome, but in the words of our favorite bear, remember that only you can prevent forest fires. Thank you.